This is Jason Whited, and you're listening to the Movie Raid.
It's time for the Movie Raid, and tonight's victim is actor Jason Whited, that is currently in the upcoming TV film Capital Murder. Hello.
Hey, how we doing?
I'm trying to stay dry. It's been raining like crazy for the last 2 weeks or so, but it's been fun playing in the flooded areas in the farm area, though. So with Capital Murder, is this your main thing? Do you have other projects in the works that you are allowed to talk about, or is this pretty much this is what your main focus at the moment is?
Right now, with our group, Pale Horse Films, which consists of myself and other producers, David Goodman and Miranda Connor, we are focused on Capital Murder right now. Done a couple other projects, but right now this is our main deal. We've been doing this for just a little over a year. The unique thing about this is it's been a pretty organic process. Typically, you get together, you write a script, you get it complete, you cast it and get your crew, and then you start scheduling and you film and go through the whole, post-production process. This time, it's been very organic. We started writing, we wrote the first couple episodes, and then decided to go ahead and start filming. So that allowed us to see how some things were going to work out that we weren't sure about. Locations were another factor. Some locations we weren't sure how long we would have them for, and they presented themselves to us as we've went along. So we've actually changed our story as we've gone to include certain locations, not just on locations, but also with actors we've been able to work with. They've come available as time has gone on, and we've been able to incorporate them. So not your traditional process this time around has definitely worked for us.
Now, this is all local, or pretty much you just travel whichever is necessary to further out the story, or as well as characterization?
We've been able to keep this pretty local here in our Southwest Washington corner. We're all about an hour apart from each other, so we've used some different locations. We do have an in-home studio that we utilize, and we do build physical sets. We've used green screen in there, and we've also have, when you are on location, we have a local wine bar. We're here where I live in Washington that we've used. We have also used about 30 miles south of here a former workplace of mine, a diner, and I know the people who own that, so we were able to go in and use that location. We have a friend that has some property, so we're able to have some outdoor things too, and just utilizing everything we can. Word gets out, people hear you're doing a film, and most of the time they're eager to have you come by and shoot a little something there. And it's a free advertisement for them too. And we do, we're a very small company where we don't have a lot of money, going to be making a whole lot of money, but the thing that we can provide them with is the free advertising. And anytime we're out talking about these things, we do try to mention them and get them some support, and we'll give them shout outs online and things like that. So we are doing what we can with what we have for them, and then they're gracious enough allow us to be there.
Well, that's very cool. So you as an actor, having to act in this type of story, what do you think should mostly be excluded as an actor and as the film itself and in this type of genre?
This is a little different. I'm not typically the straight man. I've done a lot of comedy and things like that, and I have done certain dramatic things, but in Capital Murder, I'm more of an everyman. Some of the things that you want to do as an actor are done by everybody else around me. So it's more about the world that character is immersed in and how he would interact with those situations.
There's so many stories that involved with this type of genre that are just pretty straightforward. There's always car chases, there's always drugs, there's always some kind of a boss or kidnapping, and the character.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, the character is driven to this.
Yeah, when it came to this, one of the things that we were definitely trying not to do was become too James Bondish. Like I said, my character of James Wolfe in this story is just a regular guy. He's not a cop or a detective. He's not a karate instructor. He's not former military with a certain set of skills. It's just a regular guy being put into a world that might include those things at somewhere with somebody else. We did want to stay away from, here's this guy that walks around with a cane and suddenly he's a master at wielding the cane as a weapon. We just trying very hard to keep it as real as possible, and obviously it's a film, so we are dramatizing things a little. Definitely trying to keep all of the characters as real as we can and put them in real life situations. how would you react in this situation when you have a choice to make? We know what the movie decision would be, but is that exciting? Is it what would happen in real life?
Capital Murder, you think it's a good time to produce this as well as financial stability into this?
As far as time goes, those kinds of things seem to change pretty quickly. By the time we are done and do release this, it may seem like a different situation as far as the timing of that.
Do you think it'll be financial instability in terms of once this becomes more out there on the television circuit? Do you think it's actually going to generate some actual money to generate more interest?
Well, that's always the hope. Part of our plan has already started. We do have a short film and a feature film on Amazon right now. Those things are getting exposure, so we're hoping that is helping to build an audience for Capital Murder. Now, once Capital Murder is out there, obviously we're hoping the same thing, that'll help build from there. As far as comparing it to anything else on TV right now, you will find some similar product. We're not really pushing the envelope on anything, but we're concentrating on story and on good characters. So that might be an advantage for us, when you pit us against something else that might currently be on, and hope we have that advantage.
And oftentimes they always just throw in the normal card, like what people want, or actually what they would expect. Okay, car chase. Okay, a sex scene. Okay, or at least some eye candy, so to speak. A little bit of this, a little bit of that of the normal stuff that you usually see in other action type of films and TV shows. And honestly, it kind of derives away from the storyline. I mean, it's too overdone almost the time. It's always repetitive for that. So like with this type of film, having to focus on actual real life situations, and do you think that could be an actual more of a challenge just doing that itself without actually having to go a little bit too far?
Yeah, we like having real people in our show. I mean, obviously we're looking at talented actors and things like that, but we like people with real looks, as you mentioned, like eye candy and things like that. And that stuff's all well and good, and it has its place. Sometimes, if that's what you need, then that's what you need. And there might be an element of some of the nicer things in life in there, or what's perceived as such. But I think that's what sets us apart from the others.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's great to have action. There's nothing wrong with action. I'd love to have action. But, I mean, everything can be too repetitive if you just keep releasing the same project. I mean, studios don't really entirely care because if people want to go see something, blood and guts and this and that, okay, they're going to keep having almost every one of their films involving that particular subject or that of interest itself. I think it's too stale to me. But, I mean, if people really, really want to be into that, I mean, then you might as well just release an entire saga of the same, either a cop type film or anything like of that over and over, and just don't put less money into it.
We had talked at one time of including a car chase, a brief car chase scene at the beginning of the show, and it made sense to have it there, and it was just kind of to show a little bit more of how this person is trying to escape these henchmen who are after her. And it will look cool, but in the end, did it really add to our story? Is it something necessary? No. Even though if we do have the means to do things like that, we are all about the story, and if we can focus on the actors and the message rather than just the fanciness of production quality stuff, we're going to go with the story and the actors every time.
Now, how far do you think this project's going to land? I mean, where exactly do you really want to put this project at? Do you focus on more of the more known networks, or do you want to go for a more local basic network just to stay there for a while in order to get some real general interest?
Right now, what we've just been doing, like I said, we have a couple other films on Amazon, and the consensus right now is the plan is to put this on Amazon as well. And I mean, a lot of people have that, so I think it's been working well for us so far. We've streamed quite a few hours, and I haven't got a recent update on that yet. We do have a decent build-up of what we have of our content right now on there. That's working for us, it seems, and then hopefully, after the release of Capital Murder, things will grow. We'll be able to take that to some other outlets if we can. Like I said, it all ties into real life. The situation, as soon as you come in and without giving anything away in the story, my character of James Wolfe is pretty much lives off the settlement. He's not abusive of medication, but we do show him he takes a pill, he takes a pain pill, and washes it down with a drink of whiskey. But he's kind of spiraled. He kind of gave up on life. He's in the process of a divorce and just doesn't want to sign the divorce papers and that kind of stuff. And pretty down on himself. Yeah, but he's got a friend who wants to keep him afloat. Wants to make sure he's hanging in there and keep on. He's kind of thrust into this situation that he never thought he'd be thrust into. And I think in the real world, those things kind of happen. We all get depressed or we deal with anxiety issues and whatever else, and sometimes we feel like we're stuck. We don't always acknowledge or maybe don't realize that there are people out there who want to help us, and there are other worlds out there that we're unaware of, and sometimes we do get thrust into situations. So I think people will be able to relate in that aspect.
Go ahead and plug in any websites that we can check out Capital Murder, or any. Go ahead and plug in where it's going to be playing at, or any other projects that you think that has been recently released, like a year ago.
So if you're looking up information on Capital Murder or any other projects from Pale Horse Films, you can go to palehorsefilms.com, and we have a few things there for everybody to check out. We also have Facebook pages for Pale Horse Films, Capital Murder, and also our feature film Dead Faith, which is end of days apocalyptic tale. You'll find that on Amazon free with time, and also our short film Training Grounds is on Amazon. If you've got an account, you can watch it for free. Otherwise, you can rent or buy. Aside from Pale Horse Films, another film of mine to be looking for, as I was in Beloved Beast, directed by Jonathan Holbrook, and I got to do a small role of a drunk fisherman in that, and had a great time. That will have a limited theatrical release sometime between this summer and this fall. Just waiting on more word of that, but they've got some good distribution hooked up with that, and that'll be global and around the country. So lots of stuff to look forward to.
But there you have it, everybody. That is actor Jason Whitehead.